Ground zero. This is coming from Psalm 51, verse 7 through 10. And it says in 7, purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Wait, when we look at this word, and I say whiter than snow, is like purity, right? And there's all these people in the world that's saying, you cannot be that way. No, you can't be if you never asked to be that way. If you're just going to ask God to be like snow, maybe have a little hues in the snow, maybe have a little bit of sin, a little bit of adultery, a little bit of lying, a little bit of stealing, a little bit of partying, then how could he give you anything that you first didn't ask for? And how would you know there's even a possibility to becoming white as snow if you don't acknowledge your faults? If you don't humble yourself to go to him, to go to God? It's impossible. And that's why we have to study to show ourselves approved. Stop waiting for your pastor to tell you the truth. It says when we come together, where the 2s and 3s are come together, God will be in the midst. So that means you have to do some work in order to get that mind frame, and your pastor has to do some work in order to get that mind frame. Stop putting so much on the leaders. We are all leaders in our own sense, because if we're in the world and there comes along an individual that wants to know the truth, immediately we are separated as just a common person, and now we are set above to be a leader, yet humble in mind and soul. In 8, it says, make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. It's not so much that we care about the broken bones, right? That's life. We want to hear joy and gladness through disparity, through distresses, through the hate, through the doubts, through the scourgings, through the pains. We want to hear joy and gladness. We want to understand, how did these apostles, these leaders, these disciples do it? And they were reproved left, right, and center. They were whipped and made an open shame. How did they do it? They said and they testified again and again, I heard joy and gladness through the pain. So let me hear that. These are all things you need to ask God for. And I'm guaranteed as you ask God for these things, then soon enough you will stop thinking about everyone else and all their problems, and you'll be on that road to righteousness. Hide thy face. In 9 it says, hide thy face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. That's just it. You see, we get baptized and we stop at baptism. Okay, we say with our mouths, I accept Jesus Christ within our lives. But what does that mean? Isn't there supposed to be some change? Right? It says that Mary, which was Jesus' mother, she didn't understand fully about what Jesus was doing. She only understood a bit of it. And it wasn't until his death, or rather when he was risen, that she gained the true meaning, the foundation of what he was doing. Are you searching for God? Searching did not stop at baptism. God says, there's so much for me to understand. You cannot even understand it. He says, if I were in Revelations to put everything in a book, it could not be contained. Which tells me that we have to continue to search for God. We have to learn that every day is not to do good works. It's to search for God. We're going to make mistakes, guys. and girls. We're going to stumble. We're going to fall. We're going to find out new things about what we thought was good is actually bad. But we can only find out these things if we continue to search for God, search for the true meaning of life. And we learned that you can only do that when you hit ground zero. When you've lost everything. Nobody cares for you. No one has called you. No one's saying, how you doing? Because they feel as though you're going to ask them for help. It's only at ground zero that you hit true selfishness, that you could come to true righteousness. Because selfishness is just that you have to think about yourself because no one else at that moment cares about you. Only God cares about you. So in order for you to be right and help someone to get to that common right, to get to righteousness, you must understand oneself and break down yourself, and that happens at ground zero. Don't wait for ground zero in order for you to chasten yourselves. Listen to this word and change. Ask God for help. Help in what? Help God for your mind, how you look at life, how you view life, how you treat other people, how you view yourself in the Word of God. All your doubts, all your curiosities, all your weaknesses. Read the Word of God. Anything that you are falling into the category of that is considered sin, ask to be delivered from that, and He will open up your mind to more things. God bless.